Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Patriot Patch Company and Camerado.com. How's everybody?
I'm doing good. All as can be expected. Just a short week, and we got Christmas here, and
Mm-hmm.
trying to get in the holiday spirits. Ho ho ho! And yeah, I got a new toy.
What'd you get?
Santa Claus sent me the Manus 10 Elite.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you, Santa. And it's a very interesting dry fire device that has already told me that I put my trigger finger on the trigger the wrong way, so I got to move my trigger finger.
There you go.
So we see. How about you, sir?
Hmm, not much. Still waiting for the jackwagon doctor to get back to me with my results. He went
Okay.
from nice doctor to jackwagon because he's had the results since Monday afternoon.
Well, they might not have seen anything.
He's supposed to tell me
Already.
one way or another.
Yeah.
So,
Well, is he a specialist assist, or is he just
so the specialist saw Reddit Monday morning
okay?
and then sent the report over, which I have the report,
Uh huh.
but it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But if I don't get a response here shortly, I'm going to turn it over to Grok and see
Uh,
what AI can do with it.
okay. How about your boys? Any of them looked at it yet?
No, they don't. I haven't shown it to them yet, so I don't know if they'd know what it is.
You know, paramedics know a lot about that stuff.
Yep. So,
So, and they've both been trained in it, right?
hmm,
Yeah. So,
yeah, they both went for their EMR license before they left the department. So,
good.
hmm.
My daughter's a nurse, and nothing gets by her.
Hmm, That's tough.
Yeah.
Went and got the ice shanty out of storage today, so it's in the back of the truck now.
Ooh. Ooh. Getting that time of year, huh? You
Hmm.
got you got much on the lakes yet?
Yeah.
3, 4 inches, or not that much yet?
What the hell, Sharonda? Um, I was flipping my phone on to look at the weather, and there's a post from Sharonda um, in learning to hunt, and yeah, I'm not sure. Unfortunately, Sharonda couldn't make it tonight because she got a deer over the weekend, and she's currently dealing with that. Not sure with Nick
Still,
and Ray what's up, but
still
um,
trying to deal with that deer.
that's what she said in the chat. So, um, depends on where you're at. Anywhere from I've heard 4 to 5 on
Oh, okay.
smaller lakes and stuff. So,
Of course, the farther you go north, the more ice there be.
hmm, yeah,
And you get in some of them nice walleye lakes, and you can do pretty good.
I spend most of my time going after panfish.
Yeah.
So
You can't hear me, huh? Okay. Let me see if I can.
no, you're coming across good volume for me.
Okay.
So that's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see here. There, we'll turn that up for you.
All right.
Now you're louder.
I've been trying to balance the microphone and the typical heater going off in this place. It's not big.
Mm-hmm.
Need to get some softer wall coverings.
There you go.
Thank you, Chris. So
Threats.
panfish. You panfish crappies or
Crappies, bluegills.
okay, yellow perch.
Yep. If it
Ah,
come, yep.
those I like.
All three are tasty
Yeah, but
when
yellow
breaded and deep fried.
yeller perch is really good,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's better than walleye really. And
If it's made right, yeah.
hmm and
Walleye, the thing
crop.
that sucks is the bones.
Yeah, well, um, yeller perch walleye is third because crappie beats walleye too. Good cold weather crappies are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the other one, the last on the list, but still really good, is northern pike. Now
Yep.
I know you got to deal with the Y bones on them, but that's not hard to do.
No.
You can get away with that.
And the you got to get the right size.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some northerns in the 5 pound range are good. They're any smaller than 5 pounds. They're hammer handles, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, anything bigger than 5 pounds, they seem to get a little mushy.
Yeah.
Um, but the 5 pounders are really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And yellow perch, as long as they're 6 inches or bigger, they're great.
Mm-hmm. Get the ones that look like little footballs. Raggle
Yep.
Fraggle wants to know how that's different from white perch.
Oh, white perch. Okay. Um, white perch are an ocean fish, and yeller perch are
Freshwater.
a freshwater perch, and they are related to the walleye. Um, Usually, they're got a kind of a green back with yellow stripes going down them, turning to gold down in the belly, and they they're have a large population in the Great Lakes, where they are still commercially fished. Um, uh, they're just a a nice all around eating fish. And when they're football size and or football
Mm-hmm.
shape size, they're really, really, really good. We have a restaurant. Oh, it's on the Chicago Indiana border, which is doesn't say much to it, but it's called Phil Schmidt's, and they specialize in yellow perch and frog legs, which are
Mm,
the
yum.
yeah, two of the best things in the world. Um, you know,
Well, it looks like Rumble isn't working.
oh geez, yep, Alaska Russ, yep, nothing better than yellow perch in my book. You got it. Sac-a-lay, okay. 5 gallon buckets of perch. Yes. Uh huh. Great Lakes had still have great perch fishing. Um, it's kind of an art in Lake Michigan and the down the southern part, but up in Michigan um, on the Wisconsin side, there's a lot of good perch fishing along Lake Michigan. And then when you get farther up north to the Muskie Lakes and that up north, just north of Mike, there's lots of good perch fish in there. Um, yeah, if I remember right, Lake Erie still has charters for fishermen,
And
and
walleye.
walleye. Um, but yeah, um,
I give
Devil's
up.
Lake in North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm, yeah, I haven't fished in any of those lakes in a long time. Last time I remember going anywhere was during the white bass run on the Wolf River. Hit the walleyes first, and then the white bass come right after them.
Mm-hmm. White bass or rock bass, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They're good as long as you make them right.
Mm-hmm.
We used to the it was a quarry that flooded and like is want to happen around here in Wisconsin. Um, and they turned it into a recreational area for Verona. So we used to fish there all the time.
Odor, yellow perch is just North America, if I remember right, but I will double check. Um, yes, North America. Uh, They're great to eat. They are not like trout or salmon. They're a white meat, very tender, and they flake very easily. And you don't need real high heat to cook them. Just old-fashioned way was cracker crumbs and a little bit of butter, and roll them in the cracker crumbs and put them on a frying pan and just saute them slightly and lightly, not slightly, lightly, and yeah.
What do you have for fish in Alaska?
Well, they have salmon. They have about three or four different varieties of trout. They have northern pike, grayling. Um,
Grayling are goofy looking.
yeah, they got burbot, and I'm not
If,
sure what else they have there. That's
well, if you're out in the ocean, halibut.
well, yeah, you have halibut, but I'm just saying for most of, for in freshwater fishing, those are you'll get a lot of that. Salmon, char, trout, pike, grayling. Yep.
A couple of
Probably
lampreys.
you probably have
Oh, a few lampreys. A couple different sturgeon,
oh,
shad, lake chub, longnose sucker, pike, blackfish, pond smelt, and then Cisco, lake whitefish. Well, Arctic Cisco, Bering Cisco, lake whitefish, broad whitefish, Alaska whitefish, humpback whitefish, least Cisco, pygmy whitefish, round whitefish, whitefish unspecified because we haven't covered all the whitefish yet.
Alaska
Inconnu,
Russ says lawyer.
grayling, cutthroat trouts, pink, chum, coho, sockeye, chinook, salmon, rainbow, and trout unspecified. Oh, and some Atlantic salmon that was introduced. Arctic char. Oh, we got brookies too that were introduced.
Hmm.
Brookies are yummy. Dolly Varden, lake trout, char,
Dolly Varden had to be introduced too.
native.
Native.
Hmm.
Wow.
Saffron cod, Pacific cod. The only thing I don't know is if these are freshwater or saltwater. It's just giving me
Well, the cods are all saltwater. The blackfish are all saltwater.
stickleback,
Um, s-
sculpins,
sculpin are brackish water. Um,
yellow perch introduced, signer perch native. Russ, you better figure it out. They say yellow perch.
Arctic char, is that not the same as trout? No, it's different. It's a uh, hard to explain. An Arctic char is uh, it's just a little different. It isn't. It's a if I remember correctly, it's kind of a whitish gray flesh, and it cooks up nice. Yep, burbot. Yep,
Hmm.
dolly and char. Okay.
Trying to find out where the perch are for Russ.
Kenai Peninsula.
Yeah, they are an invasive species. Well, see, there you go. South Central, so go fishing.
Yep.
Well, there's a book on Alaska freshwater fishes for $8.95. Waterproof folding guide to native and introduced.
Well, excuse me, the Kenai Peninsula example had a significant population until it was eradicated by Alaska Fish and Game Department due to their impact on native fish.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
And they've just been, in the last 4 years, they were determined to be an invasive status.
Yep.
So in 2021.
Well, they can be very destructive.
Yeah.
So. Political bull that they were introduced, or political bull that they were killed off? That's the question.
Yeah. Wow. Alaska Fish and Game says beginning in 2021, regulations prohibit the possession, import, propagation, or transportation of perch. Wow.
Interesting. I'm trying to find the destructions. They're there.
Pike is what is terrorizing us here. They are invasive in South Central as they are decimating our salmon. Wow.
I could see that. Okay. Amen, truth. So, briefly touch on, not to be flippant, but Unfortunately, over the weekend we had some news-making shootings. Um, there was one on. I was waiting for that pun. Um, Unfortunately, there was one on Brown campus in Rhode Island, and we're. I think I don't. I haven't checked today to see what the final count was, but last I saw it was two fatalities. So technically, it doesn't even count as a mass shooting, according to the FBI, because FBI is 4 dead.
And then we had the other one overseas,
The big one.
the big one.
So one of the things about Brown is they still don't have the shooter.
Yeah, they had arrested somebody, but he wasn't the person. Yes, of interest.
Hmm. There's now a $50,000 reward.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they've identified him.
Not that I know of.
So there was only two confirmed
Hmm.
fatalities. Ella Cook from Alabama and Muhammad Aziz Umar Zokov from Uzbekistan. Which is weird because I thought Brown was all woman. Maybe they went co-ed at one point in time. Anyway, um, and the other one, yeah, unfortunately, Australia. Um, where supposedly or allegedly, um, that it was Islamic State. So,
Hmm.
at one point in time, there was a civilian that jumped in. Once again, law enforcement, in a country that has excessive gun control is horribly underprepared. Um,
Well,
so
they
the
have
first,
video. They have video of the cops hiding.
well, the first cops that showed up weren't armed.
Yeah.
So unlike the cops here that show up and armed, but there was a civilian who disarmed one of the shooters, but then instead of incapacitating the shooter ran off, met up with the other shooter, got another gun, and shot more people. Um,
And he was wounded.
yeah,
The man who stopped the one, but it's the hard part for
uh,
somebody
you know, uh,
to pull the
all
trigger on.
kudos to him for disarming him in the first place. Okay,
Right.
I'm not. Nobody is blasting the guy for not. For
No, he
not.
did great. He
He
did
did
great.
something.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing. He did something.
Hmm.
As opposed to most of the people in quite a bit of law enforcement that weren't doing anything. One of the other big takeaways that I've seen from this is that there wasn't a lot of first aid rendering, and there's fatalities that probably could have been prevented if Australia was a little more up to date on on first aid training and stop the bleed training and tourniquet use. Um, you're never
Yeah.
going to get any confirmations on that, but from stuff that's been pieced together, they're not going to give you a number or anything, but it looks like there's a few that might have survived if you know civilians were more familiar and stop the bleed. So I'm going to tell everybody, if you haven't taken a stop the bleed class, do it. They're all over the place. Um, and if you don't have any tourniquets, get some. Um, Skinny Medic carries tourniquets, and We Like Shooting has a discount code for them. So if you go to if you're want to save some money and get it, but um, yeah,
Yeah.
one is
Only
none, two is one is none. Um, I have four currently, and I need to buy more. What I need to do is um, get a couple more, and what I want to do is get a harness or a belt carry, so I always have one on my belt. So
um there's two things that you, you should have. Well, I'm going to say three now, okay? Tourniquet, number one, okay?
mhm,
Number two, a chest seal. And anything, and the other thing is it doesn't even have to be hemostatic gauze, just a plain gauze,
mhm,
just fan folded gauze. And those three things can save tremendous number of people's lives.
Israeli bandage is a good idea too.
And they're cheap. Gauze is cheap. I mean,
Medical Gear
gauze.
Outfitters. Um, and he's got a guide right now that he just sent out in his email. Um, Uncontrolled bleeding is one of the leading causes of preventable death and traumatic injuries, whether it's car
Mhm.
accident, workplace injury, hunting mishap, or everyday household emergency. Knowing how to control bleeding and having the right equipment can save lives before EMS arrives. He got a guy down there that breaks down bleeding control, what products actually work, and what every family should have on hand to stop or to respond emergent and confidently in an emergency. So, I mean, you can bleed out, and if you hit a femoral artery, you can bleed out in 2 minutes. But typically, most of your wounds, it's 3 to 5. Proper bleeding control can dramatically improve survival and or guarantee survival. So you got your minor bleeding, your moderate bleeding, and your severe to life threatening. So um, get his, go to Medical Gear Outfitters, um, and
He's got some good tourniquets, which are name brand, which are what you
so
want.
he's
And
got. I'm going to bring up his website here, and yes, we're still going to get to the X10. I want to clarify that we are still going to deal with the X10 and show off the X10. So, yep. Be done with the when you're done with the Earth suit, you get to go on and so right here when you go to the page, subscribe to our newsletter. It's easy to sign up. Um, he's got tips on here and stuff how to build a first aid kit. He's got pre-done kits. So little backpack, EDC trauma, little thing here. Um, and he's got so this is a kit that's already set up, but he also has the kits down here if you have your own package you want to put it in. So and he's got a pocket kit here with individual hemorrhage control, first aid kit, all sorts of different stuff on here. Here's the fun thing: if you have an FSA or an HSA, um, he takes it, and I think most of the stuff on here qualifies. He got together with Sean from We Like Shooting, and he's got a civilian trauma kit, a couple different ranges of that, so a bunch of stuff. Um, Basically, active shooter trauma kit. Um, so you've got different things. You should have basically. It's kind of like thinking about your guns. So you've got a small kit that's on you to get you to your next kit, to get you to larger kit, to get you to EMS, to get you to a hospital. That's the way this all works. Um, and that's the goal, is to get them. You hear about the golden hour now. That first hour from the injury, which depending on the wound, your survivability greatly increase. The better treatment you get. So you can go here and take a look at all the kits. You can see what's in all the kits. Um, but he's got refill kits. Literally, what the refill kit is, it's everything that's in the kit, type thing, or most of the stuff. And he also has a stop the bleed kit. This is one I'd recommend getting for everybody. Um, $46.99. It comes with a regular tourniquet and a training tourniquet, and
It's got gauze. It's got
yeah, you can choose what type of tourniquet you get and the gauze you want included. So you can either get the Gen 7 Cat, black or orange, and soft T, black or orange. Choose your gauze between compressed gauze, combat gauze, and Celex Rapid. Um, and, kind of explains. So, and that is not a training tourniquet. That actually is an orange. I'm sorry. So you can get individual supplies.
for
So,
$46 getting 2 tourniquets. Oh wow.
yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, and then if you get combat gauze or regular gauze, that's great. That does a lot.
Celox is the upgraded version of combat gauze.
Right.
So it's more effective than the quick clot, and it's also allegedly not as painful. One thing
Yeah.
about quick clot, if you've ever used it, fucking hurts.
Burns like a mother.
Oh, there is no way to describe that other than it effing hurts.
Yeah.
So he's got tape, Sensi wrap, which is basically what I do is I go to the local farm store and buy the horse wrap,
Yep. Hmm.
because it doesn't need to be sterile. But that's your I don't know what the trade name is for it.
And there's the Olay's modular bandages there, and
Yeah,
the chest seals.
6 inches rally. Here's your chest seals.
Yep.
Um, Chest seal, you don't need to know how to do. You just slap it on.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about the chest seal. Large abdominal wound bandage, emergency splint. This is getting into more serious stuff here. Um,
The Benchmade hook.
that's a nice handy
Is,
tool to have.
that is a very handy tool to have. It beats uh, the shears that you buy for $3 like you wouldn't believe, because you can rip a set of pants in one motion to get to something, or
Hmm.
rip a shirt off. That it just, and it's safe.
Yep.
Um,
If you are CPR certified but you're worried, you can get this lovely little CPR mask for $10. It is a barrier. They've also got the cheap shields. I don't like the shield as much as the mask. The mask's a little better to use. The valve that's in the mask is a lot better at stopping fluid transfer. So He's got all sorts of stuff. You can just go through here. He's got some tactical gear too, also. But I mean, the the kits, you're gonna have a lot of cool stuff in here. So here's a backpack beating control. I'm back to this and just kind of showing that stuff. But um, and you can get the bags only. But so this is your kind of um, the drop down menu here. You got tourniquets, pressure bandages, hemostatics, wound cares, airway and breathing, chest seals, burn treatment, equipment, and then patches, of course, because we need more patches. So,
And guys, the other thing, the second thing that kills more people than anything else is shock. So at the
yep.
same time, they're $2 or $3. Buy a couple of packs of the Mylar blankets.
Hmm.
You know, the first thing you stop the bleed, everything else. The next thing that happens, they go into shock,
Yep.
and you got to keep them warm. And it's just part of it that you get trained to do.
Hmm.
And if you can go take a paramedics course, well, you can do that too.
So, and if you're looking for something better, he's got that too. He's got the upgraded blankets.
Hmm.
Um, so it's compact trauma blanket. But yeah, you can get the cheap Mylar ones for $10. $3. Actually, depending on where you go, you can probably get them for like $3 or $4.
Right.
So
You know, used to be we could put a good kit together for $20. Now they're $50. So, but
yeah,
still,
because the
fifty
cost of everything's
dollars
gone up.
$50 is still cheap compared to someone's life,
Yep.
because it could be you or it could be someone in your family.
And if you don't have the money to spend on the $45 Benchmade, you can get away with trauma shears. Otherwise, like a seatbelt cutter,
Yeah.
like this one here. They work pretty good for if you plan on being worried about delivering babies. He's got a kit for that too, and he's got a holster for the X shear trauma shears, which are some of the better ones. Leatherman makes a really nice one. A bite stick if you're into the old fashioned. Um, I'm kidding. The bite sticks are actually for like epileptics. If somebody's seizing, you can they can you can put that in there and they'll bite down on that.
Yeah. Just keep your
Uh,
fingers away.
yeah, don't put your fingers in a seizing person's mouth, even if you're trying to do a sweep, because they could bite down at any moment, and their bite force is enough to sever your finger.
Yep.
So, um, you got a leash for your scissors, so you not have to worry about losing them. A little reliable flashlight. That's an important thing.
And a marking pen.
Yep.
A highlighter, not a highlighter, but a good
Sharpie.
old Sharpie. Yeah.
Because what you want to do anytime you apply a tourniquet, it's not the situation like it used to be, where you had a certain amount of time and so on and so forth. They found out more about using tourniquets, but what you still want to do is you still want to mark what time you put it on,
Hmm.
because that is important for the people to know. So, especially if you're doing mass trauma and you're doing multiple people, and you can't be guaranteed that you're going to be around when somebody higher up the food chain of EMS and emergency care gets there. Put the tourniquet on and write the time right on the skin next to the tourniquet.
Yep. And foreheads, if you use combat gauze, um, good combat gauze has got a strip that shows under X-ray. But if you're not using a combat gauze itself, you're just using gauze, mark that you've put it in, because you can in a gunshot wound, you can put in 3-4 yards of material to fill up a gunshot wound. Pushing it in with your fingers to get it in to stop the bleed. So yeah, mark it. That you have it, because sometimes they look at the bandage that you put on top of it, and they're not interested in it right away, and can cause problems.
Yep.
But if you buy anything in the green pack, that has a strip in it that shows up on X-rays, because that's the first thing they seem to do with everybody that comes in. They give them an X-ray.
Hmm. So, but yeah, you're gonna be more likely to come across accidents, car accidents, work accidents, than anything else. Um, but you still want to be prepared. So,
It's cheap.
and like I said, if you have FSA or HSA, you can use that for it.
Hmm.
So if I have money left, I'm gonna be buying a nice bigger kit because I have two small portable kits. One's here at the house, and the other one's in my backpack, which goes to work with me and is always sitting in the truck.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, they are lifesavers.
mhm. You can usually get some decent training too. There's lots of training out there. A lot of it's free if you just do some digging. So,
Yeah.
so odor. The difference is, um, the bottom line is you either are religious, which means you're following the rules made by man, or you have a faith with coming when it and this is specifically involving Christ and Jesus, and the Holy Trinity. You either are religious, which means you're following all the rules of man, or you're following the great commandment, which is love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your might. And the second part of that is love your neighbor as yourself. If we're human, we fail, but um, the 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 thing is religion brings all sorts of judging and everything else in there. It doesn't tell us in the Bible to go out. First, it doesn't say to go out and cram his word down people's throats. It says go out and spread the good news, which is supposed to be a joyous thing. The second thing is, it doesn't tell us anywhere in there to judge others. You live your life how you want. So, um, so I mean, it's an issue. Um, the bottom line is, we live in a broken and fallen world. It's filled with sin. It's filled with evil. And if you think that people by nature are good, you're not paying attention, and you didn't read. You You're not paying attention to what the Bible says. People are not good by nature. It's one of the reasons Christ had to come and die for us in the first place. Okay. Um, you have to teach kids to be nice to each other. Okay. Go spend some time at a daycare. If people were naturally nice, kids in a daycare would share. They wouldn't hit. They wouldn't bite. They wouldn't slap. They wouldn't scream and yell at each other. They wouldn't push and shove. So,
Mm,
um,
the hard part is that there's this thing of human nature, and I call it human nature that um, is the will to expand. Okay,
mhm,
and it has to do with everything that we do. I mean,
more, more,
uh,
more.
yeah, and I keep looking at what's going on in Central and uh, now in South Africa and that you got from Somalia all the way down to South Africa. There are so many brush wars and that going on that it's unreal.
Mhm.
We move to the Middle East. We're sitting there with problems all over the place there, which are starting to spread into Europe and
Well, I mean,
so
back into Europe. I mean, you have the Moors in the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages that
yeah.
invaded Europe many times. You have the Crusades. Back and forth, all about religion. My God's better than your God, and I need to kill you. Blah 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 blah.
Well, we had our religious leaders at that time sitting there saying that the kings were part of the religion, and there was this person sitting in Rome that would sit down and say, "Go forth and free the homeland,"
Mhm.
and okay. So I don't know how many crusades we had, hundreds of thousands, but it hasn't stopped. I mean, you know, what 100-year war in Europe. We had you know just all kinds of battles over there. So if you think that Europe is better than the United States as far as stuff goes, no, uh, um, we
Well,
got lucky. We got lucky.
I mean, we're better off. You're better off being born in the United States than
Hmm.
probably everywhere else in the world, as far as having a chance to grow up and live. And you have to realize our poverty is still rich compared to 80% of the world.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if you look at it, poverty in our country is still richer than 80% of the world. So, when you talk about first world problems, it's legit. Now, I'm not knocking poverty in this country. It's real, and there are people that are, you know, starving every day, and they don't have roofs over their heads, so on and so
but a
forth.
lot a lot of that is by choice. You have a lot of that by choice. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm not saying it's not.
yeah, I'm just
Whereas a
saying
lot of
that
the third world, a lot of the third world, it's not by choice. It's by circumstance.
I agree there, but I'm just saying that here, a lot of the poverty that people have put themselves into by drugs, alcohol, the sins that we have,
Hmm.
um,
Gambling and
gambling, all that kind of stuff.
yep.
Um, and the state sponsors lots of it,
Oh,
anyway.
welfare's.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you have people that I've seen people go on, spend $100 on on lottery tickets. Okay, I
Yeah,
mean, look at we got what $1 billion up for on the
1.5.
lottery. You know, it didn't get there, but without people spending money on it.
Mm-mm.
Um, no, it's
It's not as simple.
no, there you cannot make a law and sit down and say we're going to stop poverty because it ain't going to happen.
Mm-mm.
All right, just can't do it.
No.
You can throw all the money you want at it, in the world, and it ain't going to stop.
Uh-uh.
Um,
That's why socialism doesn't work.
well, the first thing about socialism that doesn't work is because someone has to lead, and as soon as you have a leader, you have this vacuum
Right.
that happens.
Hmm.
So that's why socialism doesn't work because you have to have a leader, and with a leader, they're all powerful. So and that um, hasn't done anything. We can call a Pol Pot, with about 5 million people there.
Hmm.
Ho Chi Minh with about 2 or 3 million. You got Mao, which had between 50 to 70 million. These are just minor numbers. Stalin, they're figuring about 20 million with Stalin. Um, yeah, this is all socialism, guys.
Hmm.
Um,
Hey, truth. That's not appropriate.
we have, yes, there's always going to be the poor.
That's
Um,
not that's not appropriate. All truth. You're allowed to have differing opinions and different discourse. So.
George Orwell was right.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, there is no one answer to the human situation. Okay, I can say it's not political. I can tell you it's not religious. I can tell you there is no one, two, or multiple ways to correct everything that is going to go wrong with people. Um, everybody sits down and complains about what is happening to the Palestinians and that in Gaza. And I turn around and I look and watch what's happening to the Muslims in China, where if you declare yourself a Muslim, you get put in a concentration camp. Okay. So what's better? All right. Can't tell you. Both are bad, but it's it can be it goes against the same on the other end. With the Ayatollah in you know Iran and his way of dealing with things. So I get a kick out of the women that sit down and say we should have Sharia law, and they don't understand it.
Mhm.
Um, so I can't answer your questions, guys. I don't have all the answers, and I don't think anybody does.
You can't fix people anyway. Even if you, um, i-
Yeah, you can't fix people.
no, because they have to want to be fixed first. And if they don't want to be, if they're in that situation, um, if they're reaching for help, then you can help them and so on and so forth. But a lot of them are quite content the way they are.
Yep.
So, and yeah, I mean, you're not gonna be able to do anything. So, because forcing them to do something isn't fixing them.
Well, we try that here.
They try that all over the place. Anyway,
On to the next. And the next is the X-10.
hmm
Okay.
so I got the. Let's see here. Let's do this. So we got the brass feeder set up, and now we're on to the tool head. So
Configuration. Okay.
yeah, and then I don't think I'm able to do both of these. Let me see if I can. Don't went to sleep.
Odor, we'll see you in the new year. This is our last show of the season, and we will see you
Oh, wait a minute.
after January. After the be the first week in January after the new year. So you take care. Have a good Christmas and a good New Year, and take care. And we wish all everybody there the best.
All right. What do we got here? Do that. Come on. Really? All right. So that won't play nice. So we're getting rid of that. Anyway. I think one of the things that need to take away from the conversation and the chat this evening is we need to learn how to have um, a proper conversation and a proper discord without first losing ourselves and our humanity, um, and without going off on somebody else, regardless of what they say. When you are in a conversation and you start losing your temper, you've lost the conversation, especially if you're having a debate, and you need to remember that. So, but anyway, all right, let's see if this will reach. And I'll turn this on.
Let there be light.
Mm-hmm. Looks like the camera's a little dirty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's better. So, next up, we're working on setting up the dies. And so, what we've got is station 1 is here. Station 2, universal deprimer if you have that option. And then 3 is your Resize deprime. 4 is assuage. 5 is prime. 6 is next expand if you're going to do it. 7 is a powder drop. 8's optional. 9 is a bullet seat. And 10 is like, say you had a factory crimp die. So, I will be back in just a second because my bladder decided, oh, you're standing up. I need to be emptied. So, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Everybody say
So,
hi.
guys, as he's talking about this here,
Hi, Ollie. What'd you do?
one of the things that I have noticed that with this press,
Hi, Ollie. Come and say hi.
that the priming station needs a
Nobody else get
something
on
to hold it down because the 9mm can uh, pop through the shell plate. So it does need something to hold it down at the same time you're putting the primer in. And it's a delicate balance between the pushing the primer in and having the hold down die there to hold it to stop the movement of the case so it doesn't pop out. Um, you don't need to use a expanding die at the next station because you can put an expanding expander in the uh, at the powder drop, just like with Dylan. So when I say pop out, no, what's happening is the primer arm is pushing up, and the case rim can fail and pop the case out as the priming arm is coming up into play with the primer there. So I've seen that happen. Um, but a hold down die doesn't have, they're not expensive. Hold down dies are pretty much run of the mill nowadays. You have one that's used to swage, to hold down the case while you're swaging it. That's the one die that he has up right now that you see the swaging die. It's really a swaging foot that comes up and pushes up, and the die itself is a hold down die that prevents the case from moving up and popping through the shell plate.
All right. So I've got my handy dandy dies here. I got my decapping die. See?
Side die.
Wow, that thing makes it. So I'm using an iPhone 12
Ooh,
for the
okay.
camera. Because being on a Mac, I can use the iPhone as a camera, or I can use the iPhone camera as a webcam. And my kid just got rid of his and went to a newer one, so I got this one as a old one and working out nicely.
Nice.
So says install the resizing die in station 3 and adjust according to the die manufacturer's instructions. So typically you're going to have it contact the shell plate. you know, as you would normally. So what you would do is you'd run it all the way down and turn it down, just like you would with any other die, whether it's in a single stage press or whatever. Um, Run it down. Make sure it's at full travel. Run it down until it kisses it. Some people will run it down until it kisses and then give it a quarter turn. Um, so this actually has a depth stop as well. Which is on the back side. So you can't really see it. But what they say to do, so the depth stops back here, and then what it says is it says how to adjust it. So basically what you want is you want the depth stop so you don't have a deflection of the tool head, because then you're going to get inconsistent shoulder height. So it says loosen the depth stop lock nut, adjust the depth stop until it contacts the press base. Lower the depth stop an additional quarter turn, and then tighten depth stop lock nut. So So this is by far one of the biggest pain in the ass flashlights I've ever bought. It's a Cabela's one. And I don't know if it's got a heat temperature in it or what, or if it just has a really crappy battery, but it does not last long. So we get that like that. And what we want to do is make sure that we're not hitting the die, that it's actually hitting the stop like we want it to. So then once you get that set, lock that down. It's got a lock nut on the top. Bring that down. And then what I'm going to do is a little turn, lock that. And now I need a lubricated case. So first off, I need to find my lube. And I don't know where that is. Ow. Oh dear. Hmm. What the heck? You still there, Paul?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yep.
I got quiet.
Oh, I got the heaters are running right now. So
Oh no, I was saying it got
yeah.
quiet, so I was worried you were
No,
not there at all.
I'm here. I'm waiting for the next die to go in
Well,
because I know you're looking for a 9 millimeter case.
well, no, it's 223.
Oh, 223. Excuse me.
But what I'm looking for is my case lube. Hey, I found some more primers.
Case lube. What do we need case lube for? This is the
Um,
Reloading Podcast. We don't use case lube.
so we don't stick the case.
Come on. We used last time we used a brake cleaner on the case and we couldn't get it to stick.
Yeah, that was a different die. That's not
Oh,
this die.
okay.
So, well, poop. So, what the hell? Yeah, see, I am not purposely trying to stick a case, so there's a
Okay.
really good chance it will stick
Okay.
because that's, how karma works. So right now I'm trying to find my Redding case lube and I don't know where it went. So this is annoying. Phooey. Oh, crikey.
Got any one shot there?
That's what I was looking for as well. I don't know where that wound up either. Got some screws.
Hang on, Russ. We're going to get it. Just got to get some case lube so we can proceed with the first case.
Good grief.
Red Wings up by a goal with under 3 minutes left.
Yay. I guess. We'll try some Royal Purple Gun Oil.
Okay.
That's what I got handy. So, for science.
For science.
So, like Dylan, this has little things you can pop out, but it doesn't want to pop out at the current second. So,
Alaska Russ, it's a 223 case. That's why he needs case lube. And I told him, we don't need case lube. This is the Reloading
oh, it
Podcast.
pushes down. Okay, so Frankfurt Arsenal, in their cool wisdom, has the little case retainers, but they push down. So, so nice and sized.
Okay.
So we got her set nice. Next is swaging. So you can do that if you want. Then you get your resizing die set up. Shows you the next step is how to set the swage up. And then the priming system. With the upper right-hand cover removed, lower the ram to the bottom of the stroke and loosen the lock nut on the priming pin. I don't know what the upper right-hand cover is. So, but
All right, we want to see you dance a jig there. Alaska Russ said that Red Wings just won and remain in first place.
not dancing a jig. Okay, so it says with the upper right-hand cover removed, but I don't know what the upper right-hand cover is.
Upper right-hand cover is where the priming system is, because that's where the what do you call it comes up. That's also where the swaging arm comes up too, and you adjust the swaging arm and the swager and the priming cup at that point.
Okay, so that right cover is a two-piece assembly.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Ollie. What's up, buddy? Too big. Eh? What the heck? Is that a Torx? Oh, I think that is. Nope, it's just really small. Oh, good grief.
Yeah, you need a dedicated Allen key set for this. This
It comes
press.
with it.
Yeah.
There we go. Helps you to just grab the right one. So. So. Ollie, what you doing, buddy? Can you even see this, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can see this. This is, you know.
Riveting?
Yes.
Sweet. I like riveting.
See, better than I am, because with me and an Allen key, I'd have dropped it 4 times already.
I'm surprised I didn't. There's one.
Yeah, but you got 3 screws out already. That's,
yep.
I'd have 4 times by the time I get one.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
All right. So, I don't know if you can see this, but it's a swage, small swage here, small primer here.
Mm-hmm.
So, back to. So you put those in long before you get to any of the farther stages. That goes on. Those go in before you even put the shell plate on.
Yeah. But now you have to adjust them.
Mm-hmm. I did not set the swage up. So at this point in time, I don't know if Dan had it set up or not, but so it says with the upper right hand cover, move lower the ram to the bottom of the stroke and loosen the lock nut on the priming pin. That's the lock nut there. Wrong one. So I loosen my lock nut. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Adjust the priming pin until the top of the pin is flush with the Kate support surface of the shell plate. How am I supposed to tell that? So probably look through the hole. All right, so I pulled the brass back out. Run this back down. And so now what I'm trying to do is it says it is flush with the case support surface of the shell plate. So that's the bottom of the case of the shell plate. Which doesn't make sense.
Got to be a little higher. It's got to be where the case rim would be hitting the just about just even with the case rim. So
well, yeah,
yeah.
He's got this too high. Because this is way above. Well, no, you'd want it with. If you have it with the top of the bottom of the shell plate, then when it presses up, it's theoretically pressing flush with the case.
Oh, is that with the holder or is that with
That's the actual primer ram.
Okay, you want
For
that
lack of
all
a
the
better
way
term.
up to the top? Okay. How thick is the plate? Okay.
Well, good question. So what I've got is I've got it. So it's hard to tell.
Well,
I know. They make measuring tools.
yeah, it's called a primer. Even if it's a bad one, you just.
No, what I need to know is what the difference is between the shell plate and the top of the primer ram. So if I use my fancy okay, that's 46.87 millimeters. And I don't think that idea is going to work. I have one idea. 5205. There, back there.
I'm sorry, I missed you, Raggle Fraggle. Good night.
So it's slightly lower.
Okay.
As our current second. So I need to go up a smidge. There we go. Lock that down. Now I need a primer. The hell was that? Well, I gotta pull the whole thing out. Anyway. Sorry, kids. I thought I had this better organized than this.
Yeah, it happens.
Small rifle primers. There we go. All right. So we take the follower out. There. We drop the primer pack. Thank God it's taped. All right. So it wants us to pull the ram or the follower and put one primer in the correct face. Which, with the low primer indicator, is really hard. So we're going to pull that off quick. Put that back on. Tighten that back down. And then says insert the deprimed, sized, and swaged cast into station 4 of the shell plate. Loosen the 2 screws retaining the case control tab. One full turn, cycle the press to advance the case to station 5. That makes no sense.
All the way down.
Yeah. Well, looky there.
Got a primer in there, huh?
Yeah, it's sticking up a little bit.
Okay, so we know we got to go up more with the
Primer ram. Just another smidge.
How much is it sticking up?
Oh, the proverbial cunt.
Okay.
So my guess is probably when I tighten down the lock nut, it automatically tightens it down a bit.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do this time is hold the pin while I finger tighten the nut. So it doesn't turn this time because it didn't make a difference. So, casualty. Sounds like I got tools to pick up. There we go. We got a primed piece of brass. Hot diggity dog.
Good.
All right. What time is it?
We tried
8:57.
that with the hammer there, Alaska Russ, but it causes problems every third or fourth time you hit the primer.
All right. So it is 8:57. So we are done for evening.
All right. Well, we got through the
Sizing
sizing die is put in.
and the primer set up right.
Primer is set up right. The swaging die works, and we're ready to go on to
Charging the case.
charging the case.
So
Okay.
because rifle, I'm not going to expand the case neck.
Nope.
So next week we'll set up the powder, and then we will also set up the bullet seating die.
Okay.
And we won't
Is
be
this
doing
with the
it.
bullet seating? Is this with the bullet feeder?
No,
No. Okay.
no bullet feeder. Dan didn't have one, and I don't either.
Okay. All right. I just want to know because I
So
had not seen one with the rifle, and I was wondering what it was like because the pistol one is nice.
yeah. So if somebody wants to donate one, that's fine. But so I found out something interesting. So Lee used to make a shot shell press that was circular.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see about if I. It's called a Lee Load Fast. So I'm talking to the guy and seeing if we can come up with a trade that is beneficial for both of us. So I can acquire that because that is rather intriguing. But so, Dan said he had problems with the primer feed. So, I mean, once we get everything set up and start it running, we'll find out for sure what the deal is. I'm guessing if he had it set the way he had it set, that was probably the problem because it was set way too high. Like millimeters too high. So, yes, you do.
The lead load fast was introduced in 1991 for 12 gauge 2 3/4 shells only.
I wonder if it was their idea of a progressive.
It has links to the product in instructions still. And oh,
So they were trying to talk Tom into getting a granite top for his bench
Oh,
because
okay.
it's smooth
Yeah.
and probably level.
Uh-huh.
How do we all pressure test loads? You really can't. Um,
Okay. Um,
I mean, honestly, you really can't. You can look for signs of overpressure, but they're unless you're going to get a pressure testing rig and all of the sensors and everything, which nowadays you're probably looking at $250,000 at least for one
well,
cartridge.
there are still pressure testing kits that are out there that are sold on eBay because the companies didn't do so well. Um, uh, but the way that I test for pressures is by the case head diameter. Okay. And it takes a very accurate micrometer, and a blade type is what I prefer to use. And you cannot do it with a set of calipers. Won't work. Not accurate enough. Um, you measure the case before firing and after firing, and if you get over a 1,000th of an inch expansion, you're over pressure from new case to to once fired. Um, I don't trust primers. Primers have too many um, bolt face interference and fitment issues to tell if a primer is going to be a real way to check to see if you're overpressure out with a primer. But uh, I end up using. Oh, let's see if I can undo this. This is what I use. The case is put in here, and
Paul, you want to bring that back up?
yeah, I will bring that back up.
Okay.
Okay. Case is put in between the blades at the 200 line, and then you measure between there.
Okay.
Okay. So the 200 line is
Thank you for the very kind words, Truth. Thank you for all that you add to the show. And we are grateful to have you as a listener, as we are grateful to have all of them.
all right. Let's see if I can get this to focus.
There you go.
The 200 line is right there, right on the edge of where the bevel
Yeah.
meets uh, the solid part of the head.
Okay. So literally
Okay,
right underneath the rim.
right underneath the rim. Right.
That's what you're measuring.
That's what we're measuring. We're
Okay.
measuring.
So yeah, you definitely need a blade micrometer
Yeah.
because
So
the
if I
calipers I just used won't fit.
no, it won't fit. It's not the groove. It's not the groove. I'm gonna try to mark one here, so you
Okay.
can see where the 200 line is.
Hey, side note, guess what I just found on eBay?
What?
Tennis ball launcher.
Oh, there
Or
you
I
go.
mean golf ball launcher for a Ruger 1022. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, that's where it's at, right there.
I was thinking it
Okay.
was in the
Yeah.
groove, but
No, you
okay, so it's
just
right
had it.
just
Yeah,
before the groove. Okay.
just before the groove. Right. That's a 200 line. If you
Yeah,
let
you
it
got to have
take
a lot of pressure to get that expand.
Yeah, that's the case head. Okay, remember
Because your
brass,
sizing dies aren't going to size that on a normal basis,
right? And
even your full
remember,
length.
brass moves at approximately 80,000 psi.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you get it to expand, you've hit your overpressure. Okay,
Yep.
that's where we're how we're dealing with it here. Um, you know, 200 line. Let me see if I can find another. So if I take this at 200 and put the case up that way, it tells me where that 200 line comes in at on the case head.
Okay.
Okay, we call that the 200 line, and with a blade micrometer, I can measure the case, and I have a data cable set that I have with mine,
Hmm.
where once I turn this on, and a foot switch, so I can go through, and in a couple of minutes I can measure a couple hundred cases in about a half hour.
Nice.
So, and it then records to my spreadsheet.
Okay.
So, um,
So there's a way to do it, Justin.
and
So
mm, I don't know. There's none up on eBay for testing.
okay.
Just to check and see.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I might have seen them from time to time. So, but I don't remember for sure. Ooh,
uh,
clicky. So did you find anything?
I don't. Sammy uses a PCB 1117B series transducer, and the end is cut in a manner to match the curve and taper of the chamber.
Hmm.
That's what they're saying. I don't see the retail one that was out there. Oh, Bolt Action Reloading had one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
If anybody
The only one I've
remembers.
ever seen is like the professional. it's a test barrel, and you have to get it custom for each cartridge, and then it's a whole setup and everything. But last time I
Yeah.
looked was
Um,
15 years ago. Would have been the first year of the podcast. 14 years ago, whatever it was. 13 years ago. God, I don't even remember. But I know at that point in time to get one was like 100 grand.
yeah,
So,
um, it's not cheap.
so he said, yeah, I was just curious how hand loaders check for pressure versus Sammy or copper crusher.
He Sam Sammy used to be Copper Crusher. They still list cartridges as Copper Crusher method. Um, Copper Crusher basically drills a hole at a certain location in the barrel. Then the copper slug is placed in there, and it's at a certain location. They tell you how far it's got to be put in there. It's tightened down so it seals the barrel, and then the gun is fired. They take it out, and then they, with very accurate micrometers again, they measure to see how much force has pushed that copper down. Then they have to look it up in the sheet that came with the copper crushers because that gives them the units that they have.
Ah,
So that's why everybody has gone to PSI and transducers now, because you drill a hole, put the transducer in there, and fire. The other kind where they glued a transducer onto the barrel.
yeah.
Okay. And then the gun is fired, and what happens is the transducer actually measures the barrel expansion, how much it bulges as it gets fired,
Hmm.
which they all do.
Yeah. So,
But bolt action reloading had one. You might want to try the ultimate reloader because if I remember right, they did the same thing.
yeah.
Um, uh,
That sounds like something that Gavin would have the budget for.
yeah. Um,
So,
Hang on a second
he
here.
said, so like a strain gauge.
It is like a strain gauge, yes, but a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna share a screen real quick here.
All right.
See if you can switch me around there, Mike.
There you go.
All right. So that's where they have it set up in that barreled action there of the system that they're using to measure pressure. If you can see, they have a torque wrench here to torque the everything down to where it's supposed to be, and then they'll measure the pressure as it goes through the sensor right here. So that's what you get.
Okay.
So, and he's done that a couple of times. He did 6 GT and 308. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
and 308, they pushed the 300 Win Mag, and they didn't have any failure of the brass. But I am not gonna tell you to try to do that because that ain't gonna happen. Yes. Um,
He said, so like the case moth versus conformal.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want to take time to thank everybody that tunes in, whether it's the live show or watches it after the fact on YouTube or Rumble. Also, everybody that downloads the podcast when we get those out. I'm grateful for everybody. I'm grateful for all of my co hosts that are able to join me every week or every couple weeks. So, um, I'm grateful for all of the people that have helped in the past. So, especially grateful for the Patreons, everybody that supports the show, um, whether it's the Patreon or through Rumble or wherever. Thank you very much. It's just amazing. I thank you for all the blessings that you all are. So,
Well, we thank you for having us on, Mike, and really, you know, going through and talking to the with the people that listen and getting questions from them and trying to answer their questions the best we can.
hmm
Um, yeah.
as of now, we will not have anybody at Shot Show. Now, if I win the lottery, that's a whole different story. But I guess you got to buy a ticket to win that. So I'll probably have to look into doing that tomorrow. But yeah, as of right now, we will not have anybody going to Shot Show this year. So um, don't think we're going to have anybody going to NRA because it's in Houston. That's too far to drive. Dallas is honestly probably too far to drive, but we had the time and the boys went with me, so it was fun. GunCon would be the next thing that we're going to, or not. I don't know if GunCon we're going to do or not, but we'll be at Goals. Nick and Ray and I, maybe Shrenda, if she can get her shit organized in advance. So that'll be in Iowa this year. So we'll be going to that. That's August. So I haven't heard where GunCon's going to be yet. So that depends on where it's at, whether I go or not. So, but that's all the news that isn't on that end. Um, anything more to add, Paul? On
No, we're
Okay.
just, just let everybody have a Merry Christmas and a good New Year. We
Yep.
will see everybody after the New Year, and yeah,
Talk about Patriot Patch Company for a moment. The patch of the month.
sure.
So that's Ryan's rough drawing, and then if you're a Patch of the Month Club member, you get three things. You get the actual patch. My camera has decided to white balance everything out. You get the vinyl sticker, and then the drawing that I just showed you. Um, you filthy animal. Those of you who actually watch the video will understand what that's about. Anybody who listens, sorry. Um, swing over to firearmsradio.net/category/podcast/reloading-2 and sign up um, to be a Patch of the Month Club member and support the show. Or you can just donate there through Patreon. If you don't want to do Patreon, you can donate through Rumble or through YouTube, or if you want, I have Zelle and Venmo available as well as PayPal, if you want to just do a one-time donation type thing. So we greatly appreciate everybody that does support us in any way, shape, or form. Um, so after the new year, we will finish up this thing. And then I don't know what we're going to do yet. So we got to cover casting at some point in time. So, but in order for that to happen, I have to render some wheel weights. unless I find somebody who's got lead around me that's already ingoted, and then I can just throw that in my pot and go from there. So anyway, um, take some safety training, some first aid training, um, just the basic stuff. Make sure you've got tourniquets. Make sure you've got band-aids and bandages and stuff. And um, you don't need a huge EMS style kit um, like they have on the ambulances and stuff like that. Um, you just need the basic stuff. So um, hopefully everybody has a good holidays and get lots of cool reloading stuff. So and we'll see you next year. So on that note, keep your brass shiny.
Don't listen to your mama, Grandpa said. Violence does solve problems.
Support the Second Amendment. Support organizations that support the Second Amendment. NRA is back. It's still not where it needs to be, but it needs support. Midterms are coming up, so um, PVF needs some fundage. The way the NRA is set up, if your membership dues do not go to the Political Victory Fund, which is the portion of the NRA that does the grading of the Congress critters, and it also doesn't go to Institute for Legislative Action, which is the part that is the lobbying end of it. Lobbying sucks. Lobbying is horrible. It should all go away, but it's not. Not now, not anytime in the near future, because there's too many schmucks that have made Congress a lifetime career, and they've made getting rich off the lobbyists a specialization. So um, I heard through the grapevine something or other that Trump submitted or no, I think Trump submitted a request to have term limits added, 12 years for senators, which is basically 2 terms, and 6 years for Congress critters, which would be 3 terms um, for House of Representatives. I'm all for it. Um, it's not meant to be a career. It never was meant to be a career. That's not how the founding fathers thought. The idea was that you would serve and then you would go back home to your job. And the idea was your job was something that you would use to draw experience from your normal life to help in government, and it's not a career. Unfortunately, people are lazy and greedy and selfish as a general rule, and if they figure out a way to make easy money, they try and continue to make easy money. So
Yeah, and it only takes a little while for them to, to become how
so
do you put it, in, in
in somebody's
line.
pocket.
Yeah,
So I
and
did hear something funny the other day. There's a couple of apps out there now that are tracking Congress critters stock purchase buying, and so you can set it up so it automatically purchases if one of these Congress critters makes a purchase, or it will automatically sell if one of the Congress critters sells off a particular stock.
mm,
Frankly, I don't think they should be allowed because half the time they're involved in insider trading and the SEC won't go after them. So, but anyway, I digress.
um,
Support the Second Amendment. Make sure that your elected representatives know how you feel and what you're doing to support pro to a candidates. Um, Supreme Court's got 2 cases on the docket right now. Yeah, one's kind of we'll see what happens with it. The plaintiff or the defendant isn't really the best option, but if you look at the case in certain ways, he might actually be the perfect defendant. It's the old felon in possession of a firearm, yada yada
Mm.
stuff. Um, so there we go. They are kicking around a couple other possible cases. Maryland's ban on assault weapons, California's magazine ban, and some others.
First one coming up is Cook County.
They are debating these, so they're holding conference on them, and they're not deciding one way or another. They're kicking it down the curb, kind of like they did last spring.
Except this time they have DOJ that says they want a case to go to the court to decide.
Correct. So we'll see what happens. Um, Hopefully, they will pick a case, and we'll get a definitive answer that no, you can't ban this stuff. The whole sporting use is not a valid reason for banning. Good cause is not a valid reason. So,
The
you
Supreme
know,
Court has already said that. The problem is that the lower courts don't know how to interpret it.
no, they aren't choosing to interpret it.
You
So,
know, and
the bottom line is they've already, if you look at Bruin and you read Bruin and you read the decision of Bruin, all of this shit should already be illegal
yeah,
because none of it follows text, history, and tradition. But
yeah.
the lower courts keep doing what the lower courts do until somebody makes them stop. So
Well,
we'll see what
even
happens.
then, I mean, the magazine ban was thrown back by the Supreme Court to California and said,
Twice.
"Fix this." Yeah,
So
fix this, and they haven't.
nope.
So
So
that's another one that's going before the Supreme Court again. But the first one coming up is Cook County with their ban on the AR-15, and
mhm.
which means that Illinois is the same thing, which would take it there because they've had two um, lower court justices say that you can't ban the AR-15, and but the
State Supreme Court,
no, the district court, the yeah
federal district.
federal district court said in a three-judge opinion, which only two agreed on, and one of them is pissed because he never got picked to go to the Supreme Court. Said he's witnessed what an M16 does to people, and um, it's brutal. And he's talking out his back hole again.
Yeah. Speaking of
Um,
talking out of your back hole, Morgan Freeman's gone off the reservation.
well,
He has gone full potato. He suggested a confiscation with a $5,000 buyback.
oh
Obviously, he has no frickin' common sense and doesn't understand that if that's the case, I can go to Home Depot, spend $15, make a perfectly usable shotgun, and get 5 grand for it.
yeah. And there's people like me that have over $5,000 invested in a rifle that will never get anything back out of it.
Right. So, yeah.
So
I told my response to him was start with L.A., Baltimore, Chicago, New York. Once you get all the guns from there, then we can go elsewhere.
but in order when it happens though, it's got to stop all murders. All murders have to stop with
It's
gun
not.
committed with guns.
That's not
Okay,
going to happen.
all suicides have to stop with guns once you've done that.
First off, there is literally no way to get all of the guns in this country.
There's 400 million.
Oh, there's more than that.
Well, they say there's 400 million. That's what the BATF is working with, that number.
Yeah, no, there's more than
I
that. You
mean,
know it.
that's there's only 320 million in the people in the United States. I mean, my grandson's got a gun already.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I haven't given it to him yet, but he's got a gun already.
Uh-huh.
You know,
But yeah, that number is not even close to accurate. If you want
no,
me to guess, I would put it more towards a billion. I would put it more toward honestly, there's more than is somewhere between 750 million and a billion firearms in this country.
yeah,
Because how many gangbangers do you bet has just one?
yeah.
Most of the gun
Well,
owners I know don't have just one.
well, the gangbangers, it's easy. All they got to do is stop making Glock parts, and then the gangbangers are going to be done.
Yeah, right. That's what they said when they banned 38 or the Saturday night
Yeah,
specials
night specials, yes. Uh huh.
back in the what 50 years ago. Yeah, that worked well.
Yeah. Uh huh. That was 1968. Yeah.
So let's see here. Madison, city of Madison has a handgun sale ban since the 77, 78. And
Yeah.
yet, amazingly enough, there's still handgun murders in Madison.
Yeah. And all the assault weapons banned in the world, that are out there that are in the United States. How many assault weapons are used to kill people?
Well, since the assault weapon is a made up term by the media, none.
There
Um,
you go. Okay, that's the first one. Okay, but you know,
Hammers and fists kill more people every year than all rifles.
yeah.
All rifles.
Hmm.
So, anyway, I digress. But so make sure you're paying attention. Um, Most importantly, it's the holiday season. A lot of people are struggling, period, because they lost a loved one during the year, or they lost a job, or
Life
um,
is just shit on them.
yeah, whatever reason, maybe they got a
Yeah.
crappy boss or whatever. Um, Check on your friends and loved ones and people. Check on them, see how they're doing. Obviously, you can't, make somebody go get help, but you can try and be there for them as support. Let them know that if they need help, there's lots of resources out there. Start with 988 if they're desperate, or 1-800-273-8255 from a landline if you still have one. Walk the Talk America is a good resource to start with. If you're not sure what's going on, Walk the Talk has some great free tests that you can do to kind of get an idea of what you're struggling with. They're pretty accurate. So, it's not like it's, throwing darts at a wall and, oh, hey, there you go. It's not like I'm sitting here chucking darts over my shoulder, wrong shoulder. And, and just kind of getting whatever. Um, there's legit stuff behind these tests that they offer. So, and you can do them anonymously too. But make sure you're reaching out, getting the help if you need it. Um, we want you here. We need you here. Um, if for another reason, because I guarantee you, there's at least one person that loves you, and you may not realize it. Um, Oopsie, turn the volume down. There we go. So, um, be kind to others. Um, Even if the person you are discussing with decides not to be civil, don't go down to their level. Be nice.
You're
So,
bigger than they are.
and I'm not talking physically. So,
No, mentally.
uh, yep.
It's very easy to be bigger than a lot of the people on this as far as being mentally. They can't figure it out. Okay.
You will get into discussions with people, and it's like beating your head against the wall. Just understand that it's a loss and walk away.
Yeah.
Um, you can say, "I'm sorry. We'll just have to agree to disagree," and leave it at that. So, don't talk politics at work because that winds up bad. So.
Yep.
If somebody asks you a question, don't answer. Protect yourself. Be suspicious. Do they have ulterior motives? Are they trying to get you labeled the crazy nut and get you fired? That type of thing. So, most importantly, check on people. So, keep tabs on people. Check in. Even if it's just a text. With your family, institute the 8-minute conversation thing, or with your friends, your friend groups. There's a gentleman on Instagram that talks about a thing that they created, where you talk to somebody on the phone or you text them all the time. You send memes back together, back and forth. Let them know that if they need to seriously talk, to send you a message that says, "I just need 8 minutes," or 8 minutes. You can just
What
shorten it to that.
I'm old fashioned, okay? I gotta, stop there because it's so important to talk to somebody to actually talk to somebody, not
Oh yeah,
text.
absolutely.
You
But
know,
you're letting
but
them know with
yeah,
the text or whatever. You're letting them know that you need to talk to them for 8 minutes. It's not
yeah,
texting
but
back and forth. It's picking up the phone and calling them.
right, exactly. It's pick up the phone, call somebody. Even call your friends that you haven't talked to in a year or a month or whatever,
Hmm.
and just say hello. I mean, it's this is the worst time in the world for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the holidays. They're all sitting down and they're all crying in their uh, about in their beer about everything in the world. Talk to people. Sit down. Raise their spirits up a little bit. Try to get them to think in a different way. Um,
If it's your friend, remind him he's ugly.
yeah,
If he's a good friend, because then he'll say back, "You're even uglier." So there you go.
yeah. It's just so important to keep the communication lines open
Absolutely.
verbally. I mean,
Yeah. It That's the important thing is.
things are hidden by text, okay?
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times you and we don't read it the right way,
Hmm.
and we just pass it off. Whereas you get, you call somebody up, you pry pry into their lives a little bit,
Hmm.
tell them how bad it is for you and everything else. You know,
Hmm.
everybody sits down and looks at me, and I sit down and I crying because my insurance is going up by 100% this coming year. Okay, my health insurance. Well, that doesn't even my cola doesn't even affect my with my social security.
Right.
So it's coming out of my pocket, and
Thanks,
I'm
Obama.
upset with it. You know, but it's it's little things like that where you can sit down and talk to somebody and just feel them out and pry somewhat. You know, just
Hmm.
do do the right thing.
Yep.
And if you're in Illinois and you need help, get a hold of me.
Yep.
Call Mike.
If you're not sure where to
Uh,
reach out, you can always send us an email, reloadingpodcast at
yep.
gmail.com, and I can help. Paul can help. We can help find places and stuff. So,
The biggest thing is we want you back.
yep.
We want you back here with us. Okay? Because somebody's got to get feed us dumb questions anyway, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Uh, so, guys, have a good one. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a good New Year. Okay?
Yep.
Go easy on betting on the football games. All right? Okay? If you're like Mike, stay away from the hockey games. They're going to be, all over the place right now.
I don't bet on
So,
games.
um, And yeah, just go out and have a great Christmas with your family and your friends, and have a good New Year. And we wish you all the best. And I want to see everybody back next year
Yeah, absolutely.
um, with new
So,
questions for us.
yep.
And it don't have to be about reloading.
No. I mean,
Yeah,
the last few shows we've talked about fishing and food prep and
yeah,
stuff, and we don't mind.
no, no.
So it's fun to
So
it's honestly fun to talk about different topics every once in a while. Change of
yeah.
pace. So
And besides, I got to take a brisket out next week, right after Christmas, and I got to soak it for so I can have pastrami for New Year's.
yep.
So,
There you go.
guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you all so
Yeah, we
much.
do. I can't say thank you enough. So
No,
all
no.
right, gang.
All
Good
right.
night. Happy
Good
holidays.
night,
Merry
all.
Christmas. Happy New Year. And we'll talk to you next year.